Nothing like coming home to this. Yeah. My sweet mango.
Guys, we're back in my garden. Welcome back to Care Cultivated. If this is your first time tuning in, thank you for joining me. I hope you consider subscribing and leaving a comment. And if you are returning, thank you so much for supporting me on my videos and encouraging me to get back into YouTube, to be honest. Today, we are going to be doing, as the title suggests, some Hoya stuff. I need to repot, I need to propagate. Some things probably need some treatment. They probably have root mealies. We'll get into it when we look at the roots and we really examine what's going on. Before we started, I wanted to show you something that's doing terribly right now and something that's doing good. This is the terrible. I have my lime maranta that I had hung up behind me. A lot of the stuff that was in here is now in the garden on the lawn because I needed space for my orchids. I had this hanging and I'm realizing more and more with my care and what I'm willing to do with plants, which is sometimes the bare minimum, and kind of leave them to fend for themselves. I can't keep this in a hanging basket. I'm going to have to keep this on the lawn, on the ground, because it'll stay moist on the ground. So the humidity will be higher and it's just easier for me. Whereas when it's up above, I don't really look at it as much. When you're up above, you have to fend for yourself. You have to be able to like fight off pests sometimes on your own. You don't get watered as often as everything on the ground. So I'm going to treat this because I see some mealy bugs on it and it might, those might be, is that thrips or dirt? I think it's dirt. So maybe just mealy bugs. Oh, spider mites as well. I see the spider mites moving. I don't know if you can see them, but they are definitely there. It needs to be treated and it needs to be given a better location. So that's on my to-do list. And something that's doing really well. What shall I choose? What shall I choose? It was between this and the Monstera dubii, and I think I'll choose this one. This Dieffenbachia is doing so great. I got it much smaller. All the leaves that I got it with are dead. And I got it this year and it's doing really, really well. It seems to love the bright light in here, so I'm not going to move it. I moved it further into the veranda and that was a mistake. When plants are doing well in their location, just leave them alone. I've lost these 2 leaves since I moved it. So I have to put it back where I had it and continue with the usual boring care that I give it. As this is a Hoya video though, let's decide what we're going to do with which Hoyas. This, I think I want to give it a repot because I see some roots down there. Oh, I might have to give some plants some trellises as well. Hoya don't love having like a ton of space in their pots. However, I also want to change the soil is in. It might go back into the same pot and I just bring the soil level a little bit higher. Sometimes repotting doesn't necessarily mean uppotting. It means changing the soil, checking on the roots, getting rid of any dead debris, that sort of thing. This one, I just want it to be in a different pot because this is cracking. She needs a new pot and fast. I can see the roots circling the bottom. I think that these two are in need of some help. I have leaves that want to go on this one and both of them have roots right there, like exposed. So we definitely want to repot. These actually might get into different pots today. I don't know if you remember this plant. This is my Hoya Obovata. And she was much more glorious before. I don't think I want her hanging anymore. I've really been inspired by Monif's Jungle. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but I'll put the @ right there. Watch your plants. Her Obovata was not trilling. It was trellised, I think. I do think I want it trellised going up, so we'll have to figure that out. This is still one of my favorite Hoyas. It used to be my absolute favorite, but this specimen here does not look good anymore. It's not like a rich green anymore. It's bleached. It's lacking nutrients. This isn't sun stress, right? This is bleached from lacking nutrients. And that the reason why isn't because it doesn't get enough fertilizer. It's because it's so desperate for a repot. It has been in the same pot for 2 years now. And when I got it, it was pretty much root bound. So it needs a new pot and new soil badly, badly, badly. This Hoya caudata, I want to propagate this and I also want to change the pot it's in. The reason being, a lot of the newer leaves are smaller. Absolutely not. I want the big fat leaves again. I miss the bigger leaves. Lastly, I'm thinking to both repot and propagate my Linearis because a lot of people want this plant and we don't have it in Barbados readily available. And also it's getting like super long. When I got it, it wasn't anything like this. So I'm really proud. Now the soil that these Hoyas usually come from greenhouses are not great for my care and my environment. They dry out really quickly because I don't water as often as they do and I don't feed as often as they do. So I need to put it in a more nutrient rich soil and a soil that will feed this plant so I don't have to do it all the time. Okay, we're gonna start with the Obovata because it's been in this situation the longest. Hopefully I can salvage the pot. Usually these arms break off because they dry rot in our weather. So, and I mean, do you remember what it looked like? Like, look at this. I'm gonna insert a cute little video to show you how glorious this once was. But okay. Um, as far as roots go, it's okay. Classic Hoya roots. Nothing too crazy. I do see a little bit of mold, um, but nothing insane. So I'll just do a little hydrogen peroxide for that and keep it pushing. I'm not going to disturb her too much, but I did want to get out as much of it as I could so I can give her some new soil. She's going into a bigger pot. I feel like this is slightly bigger, which is exactly what we need. We don't want it to be huge. Before I do that, I'm going to try to wash off some of this soil. I've washed her off. I've gotten some more of that old soil off, but it's a lot of roots as you can see. And I think this pot is now the perfect size for her. And I have to backfill it now. There's still so much space in the pot. Now we're on to this one who's already on a trellis. I propagated this a bunch of sheer cuttings with actually y'all know Anne and also another friend that you don't know. And I do see the tiniest root mealies. So I'm gonna go and wash this off. If your Hoya stops growing, you should probably check the soil for root mealies. Just smaller white spots, and I can see like at least one actual mealy. All right, I've chosen this spot. It's deep. There's a long way to go for my roots before I ever have to pot this again. Probably a couple of years. And I'm gonna stick this in here just like so. I like how tall it is. Perfect. By the way, these are the roots after I've washed them down and also treated them with some hydrogen peroxide. Next up is macrophylla. We'll probably go into this clay pot as well. Let's see what the situation is for us. So I'm getting the macrophylla and making sure that the roots go deep into the pot. Okay. The soil mix that I use for these clay pots is also very light. And the reason why I am using such a light, airy mix is because it's about to be rainy season in Barbados. So I want to know that when the rains come, I don't have to worry too much because I grow outdoors. And growing outdoors is a lot harder than growing indoors because you cannot control your environment unless you have a greenhouse. And I don't have a greenhouse, so I'm doing the best I can. So it's really important that I choose medium that is going to make my life easier, and I won't have to worry too much about what happens when it's constant rain day after day, because I can't control it. I really love the Hoya Cata, and I love the blooms on it. I like how fuzzy they are. They're very pretty. And I haven't had this one bloom for me yet. More importantly, to me, I haven't gotten big leaves. And I love foliage more than flowers when it comes to my houseplant. So I really want to reset this plant and hopefully get really good big growth during the summer. I'm hoping for some beautiful sun stress, not bleaching, but stressing. And hopefully this plant can really take on a new life with this new repot. We'll see. My goal for my Hoyas is definitely big foliage and very long trailing plants. I'm not really in it for the blooms, but that would be an added bonus if it decides it wants to bloom. We are on to the very last plant, the most delicate of them all, the Hoya Linearis, and I am ready to chop. Let's chop, because this plant is growing really unevenly. There's strands that are longer than the others. Oop. And there's the mistake I made. It fell completely out of the container, the hanging basket, because the roots weren't established. And not only are the roots not established, they're so thin that they would not hold it together anyway. So I'm going to have to put this back into that hanging basket, as well as propagate some Linearis. I think that I've spoken about this a lot, but when you make mistakes in the garden, just keep going. Just keep going. Nothing is going to be perfect. That's literally nature. Nothing is going to be perfect, and that is okay. But what I'm going to do here is focus now on propagating the strands that I cut into this one clay pot. What I want to do here, and what I am doing here, is taking the last leaves off of each cut-in so that I have at least 2 nodes below the soil, because I want a lot of roots on my cut-ins. So I'm taking the last leaves off just like that and placing it into the soil because I want it to grow strong. Another thing I might consider doing is putting a plastic bag over it to make kind of like a dome and just increase that humidity there while the roots catch, because currently, yes, our humidity is very high right now because the rain is coming and going. But I just want to make sure that this props. I've never done this. I've never propagated a Hoya Linearis, so I'll definitely give you updates as to if it worked and if it didn't, and what you can learn from my either success or failure. And I also have to repot these that came out, so I'm putting them back into the same container with different soil. And hopefully those roots really catch. To me, the roots are the most important part of the plant, and they will determine everything for the plant. So I focus on the roots a lot. We're finally done with all of our tasks, and the last thing we have to do, and you always have to do, is soak each plant. Whenever you water or propagate, soak each plant. I beg you. The plant is going through a lot of stress being uprooted from its home, and it needs a comfy environment to settle back into. So soak them, not wet them, soak them through, let the water run through, and you'll be good. I hope you enjoyed this. It took a little bit longer than I anticipated, but I was able to. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you like, comment, and remember to subscribe. If you're not part of that group of people that just watches and never subscribes, come on into the family. It's nice over here. We have plants, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.